You're watching In the Market in association with Diamond Property Merchants.
Right. Thanks for staying with AM Live. And I have Edwin Kirango, who's the Sales and Marketing Director from Diamond Property Merchants, Willis Mudimbo, an architect, and Jeremiah Thuku, an agronomist from Osho Chemicals. What you've just seen are success stories from 3 previous phases. There's phase 4 that's coming up, and that's what we're delving into. If you have any questions about that piece of land that you want to own and what to do with it and how it can make you money, this is the time. Call in, we will ask them questions live. They were ranked number 1 in 2016's top 100 mid-sized companies. That means they're legitimate and they know what they're doing. Most of the Kenyans, when they hear about land issues, the first thing that comes in their head is scam. And that's the first thing I'm going to ask you, Edwin. This sounds too good to be true. Is there something we're not seeing around here?
Well, thank you very much, Trevor. Sometimes I look at the numbers and the ROI and the reaction from the market, and I ask myself, maybe the ROI, should it have been lower? But at the end of the day, it's as straightforward as it is. I think Thuku will be explaining in terms of the numbers. But who else can give you credibility? Other than the big names in the market like KPMG. I'll be very honest, our top 100 mid-sized victory came on the back of agribusiness. And I'll tell you for a fact, we went through thorough scrutiny from the ownership of the land itself, from the concept. They had to get all the necessary documents. When you talk about buyback and the contractual agreements, how do they look like? How will it serve the customer? I mean, are there any loopholes? And by the time you get a thump of approval from such a reputable organization, I don't think whether I need any other from out there. Anyway,
so this is legitimate?
This is very, very legit as it stands currently. And what you're seeing from that video is actually a success story, true story of, we're not saying that we will do. No, this is actually happening. Right now, we're almost hitting 5,000 in terms of getting the number of greenhouses. And I think that by the time we close the year, as we do phase 4, that has been our target. So we're closing phase 4, 2016, at about 5,000 farmers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's take this step by step. First, how much do I need and how much land will it buy me?
Perfect. An eighth is currently going for 500,000.
Okay.
So I have a Christmas offer for 480,000. 480,000. But I need to give a small genesis of where we began. Phase 1 that was sold in the month of June was going for 290. And the demand surged on, pushing the price upwards. Phase 2, I think 350. Phase 3, hitting 400. Here
so
we are.
This is going up by the phases.
The pressure and the demand is literally pushing the value of the land up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at this point, I need 480,000.
480,000 will give you an eighth, which is a 50 by 100 piece of land. The cost is all inclusive of the title transfer charges. So once you pay the 480, the next thing is you wait for your title. Number 2, you need an extra 320,000, which is now the cost of the greenhouse. And what does it include? The cost of setting up the greenhouse, the agronomical support that comes with it, the farm management for your first season, as well as the agronomical insurance. In the process, in the event of total crop failure or vandalization of the greenhouse, you do not need to go back to your pocket and pay another 320,000 for another set of greenhouse. So that 320 is a one-off investment that covers you're laying the entire infrastructure. Now going forward into season 2, season 3, yours is just to expect returns going forward. So basically, with an 800,000 initial investment, you're a proud plot owner and a greenhouse. And of course, if you want to double your yield in this particular case, you can do a double greenhouse in that particular case. But you're telling you, as an initial investor, where you begin 800,000, 480 will give you the piece of land, 320 the cost of the greenhouse, and you plugged into the concept.
Okay, so 800,000, I have my eighth. 550 by 100, that's an eighth piece of land, done and dusted. And the paperwork has been done, the greenhouse is also there.
Everything.
And you've mentioned that there's crop, you guarantee me in case there's crop failure. What returns am I looking at and at what period? First, agreed, I have my 800, that's an eighth. I want to take this step by step so that everybody understands exactly what we're talking about.
So Trevor, you come for the open day on Saturday. This is Saturday 17th. You begin the purchasing process. You book your plot, and booking is just 10,000, by the way. So let me come and see it for myself first. I want to, seeing is believing. Let me come and see the property for myself. Let me look at this success story that I'm seeing on the video. Let me come to the ground and look at it. So once you've satisfied and you're interested, you book your plot by 10,000.
We'll come to the site visit. What I want to know is that out of this 800,000, so how much am I going to get?
So once you buy the land right now, in January, of course, you're setting off with the first season. So you plant in January, the perfect planting time. So you have January, February, March. Your first season has matured.
So that's 3 months.
3 months. We'll harvest in April, May, and June for 3 more months. if this is tomatoes or capsicum. At that particular time, if I had an 8 by 15 greenhouse, I have a yield of around 500 because it's accommodating 500 seedlings, each giving you 10 kilos thereabout upon maturity. So you have 5,000 kilos in terms of the yield. Now, the contractual buyback is 50 shillings per kilo as of now. Of course, in the future, will it change? We'll come to that. So with your 50 shillings buying back your 5,000 kilos, you have 250,000 Kenyan shillings. That's a gross. But since we have other recurrent expenditures within the process, we have crop husbandry. For the next season, we have to move into the next, now that is in July. We're moving into season 2. We'll buy the fertilizer, seedlings, and chemicals for the next season. That goes at a cost of 30,000, leaving you with 220. Then there's a 20,000 thereabout that goes for the farm management, and of course you have the cost of water, pumping, and all that. So your net return is 200,000. The question is, what if I get an overyield? Are there chances of getting an overyield? Yes, the 5,000 kilos are the standard average. With, of course, proper care and farm management, you're even likely to get 7,000 kilos. But don't expect to be paid more because we are spreading the risk. You are like 500 of you within one zone. Chances are very high we'll have a few of you going above the line. There are a few of you will be below the line. Now, we don't want to pay one more and pay one less. So all of you are on that average line. We have spread the risk across board so that each and everybody is well taken care of equally. So all of you will be paid on the average.
So this is 3 months.
3 months, 6 months, total of 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, from planting to harvesting.
And I have my first 200,000 net.
Net
And this is guaranteed.
Guaranteed, super guaranteed, based on the current contractual buyback contract that you have.
So you're telling me that within a year, I shall have already paid at least half of the plot which I have, and still have the plot and the greenhouse.
You invested in 800,000, you have your first 400,000 from the first harvest. And I've been asked over and over again, these things looks too good to be true. The ROI vis-a-vis the capital invested,
and that's the returns on
not
investments,
really
ROI.
The question is, which crops are we dealing with? We don't talk about quails where I never consumed a quail. This is tomato. I'm very sure you consumed a tomato product in the morning. You are likely to consume a tomato over lunch hour. You are suddenly going to consume a tomato in the evening. Question, how many of us are participating in the farming of it? In the past, it's been in the hands of the few. Right now, we are creating you, the urban people, as into urban farmers. You're participating in that process, and it's sweeter because it's actually paying back in a better way.
Edwin, the reason people ask you that this thing is too good to be true is because what you're essentially telling me is that within 2 years, my land shall have paid for itself, and now I'll be having now extra net income.
That is it.
Because if I bought the land at 800,000, within the first year I've made 400,000.
400,000, year 2.
And then the second year I made another 400,000. I still have the land and I still have the greenhouse.
Plus the land has appreciated in value.
And then the other question is, who takes care of this greenhouse in case I don't have time?
Now that's not your problem. We have a pool of hard-working individuals on the ground. That 20,000 goes back towards the farm management. Right now, Phase 1 alone has over 50 people who live there, who have farmhouses. They live there and literally work on the land. Phase 2 has another pool of employment. Phase 3, the same. So we not only, as an urban farmer, not only just farming, but you're also creating employment. The number of the young Maasai people that we've employed there, some of them have actually abandoned cattle keeping into farming.
All right.
Yeah.
And let me bring in Jeremiah on this. Do these numbers make sense? You've been there, and I know you deal with these greenhouses.
Yes, Trevor.
Do they make sense?
Yes, they do. Once I got the figures and the procrastination of these figures, I went down to look for, can it work, to look for answers. Trevor, a greenhouse, like Edwin is talking about, can produce about 500 plants. You can plant about 500 crops.
Okay.
So we are talking of capsicums, as Edwin put it. The red knight, the admirals, the yellow ones, the colored ones. We're talking of the price being 50 shillings, which if you get out at the Nakumatt, you won't get it at 50 shillings. It's 100, it's 120. So
this is the bare minimum price.
This is it's the minimum.
Likely to be higher.
Yeah, Trevor, it is a minimum of the minimum.
Okay.
You can get colored capsicums at 50 shillings. So 500 crops or plant times 50 shillings per kg, and in good agronomical support, we can get per plant we can get 10 kgs of these capsicums in the lifetime, in the season.
Okay.
In the season. So we are saying 500 times 50 times 10. So this is 250,000 in that greenhouse we are talking about.
And then the crop failure, what happens?
Crop failure.
In case
Trevor,
happens?
when you talk of crop failure, we are talking of what brings the crop failure. We are talking of the diseases. We are talking of bacterial wilt. We are talking of maybe vandalism. We have insurance. We have insurance. I hope you have put in place, Edwin, the insurance. Then number two, they have agronomical good professionals who are looking for it, who are looking for these diseases. The soil test, as I started with, you look for the bacteria that can result in this crop failure. Yeah. And then the nutrition, you have to mind about the nutrition, because for you, Trevor, to achieve 10 kgs per plant, then you need to boost and you need to do some nutritional.
And you mentioned that the choice of crop depends on the piece of land. So it means once I buy that piece of land, it's not me to decide that mi nataka mahindi hapa.
No. It's not you, because your concern is the return on investment after 6 months, if I'm right, Edwin. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if I do strawberries like my brother or anyone else. Yeah. But the best thing is these people are, I must accept that they are bright agronomically. When they chose
that's
the prime
when they won number one.
Yes, they won me. Once they choose prime products like tomatoes, capsicum, and cucumber, then I knew these guys won't go wrong, because you can never go wrong on agricultural products, Trevor. You can go wrong on anything, you know, banks and everything. You can go wrong on some of these issues. Yeah. But when it comes to agricultural products, as Edwin put it, you can never go wrong, because right now the market is going up. My graph, if I drew for you, X and Y axis on the agricultural product prices, it's going up.
And people will always be eating.
Yes, exactly.
Willis, let me bring you in on this before Edwin jumps in. Is this a fair pricing based on your experience? An eighth of an acre, 480,000. Of course, Edwin mentioned that it's driven by demand. It started at 100 and something, now it's at 400. Is this fair based on your calculation?
If you look at the recent publication that was done by House Consult and other companies that have done research on land and the prices, you look at the kind of value addition that they're doing, yeah, I believe that this is fair price, because at the moment, looking at the prices, as you move from Nairobi towards Kitengela, Kajiado, as you move, the price, it has kept on increasing. Look at, take an example of Kitengela. 3 or 4 years ago, that land was going to about 300, 400,000, yeah? So, but right now, you're looking at 1.5, 3 million, you see, something like that. Yeah. So basing on the available resources that are there, the infrastructure and the environment and land around that place, I believe, 500 is a fair price.
And at what rate will this appreciate based on your experience?
Okay, depending, see, looking at...
maybe give it at least 2 years, because what Edwin has told me is that once I invest in it, within the first 2 years, I've already gotten back my money.
Yes.
So in case I want to sell that land,
yes,
how much will I be selling it for?
Most of the time, land is always, the price is already derived by the infrastructure and what happens around, yeah? And looking at the way the government is investing in the counties, yeah, and the area around Kajiado, you're looking at probably doubling that price in a year.
Okay.
Yes.
So that will go higher.
Yes.
Edwin, you've said that phase 4 is going to Kajiado, right?
Yeah.
Why Kajiado? Most people would say, isn't that quite a distance? Isn't it too far from the CBD?
Right now, people will say it's a bit remote from Nairobi. Look at what's currently happening. The initial statistic I shared earlier, Nairobi being one of the largest urban centers, and with the population increase, the 17 million of us who live in the urban centers, of course, Nairobi carries a giant portion of it. As we move on, it's actually, some statistics were shared the other day by Dr. Mwangi on Vision 2030, that by the time we actually have Vision 2030, we'll have at least 3 times the current population in Nairobi. Question, where will they be living? The land in Nairobi is not increasing by an inch, not forgetting to mention that most of the land is already being held under speculation. plainly. Now, what will happen is this is pushing Nairobi to expand towards the outside. This has already taken place along the superhighway. We've seen that. When you come to along Mombasa Road, the story began in Syokimau. We've gone to Mlolongo, Kitengela, now we've moved to Isinya, Kajiado, and the story is still going on. So which is the next available place that me who had never bought along superhighway, me who never got a chance to invest along the Kamaki bypass, where can I go and buy land affordably right now? There are only two available options. I'm either going along the Namanga Road or towards Kangundo Road. Those are the only two viable places as we look towards making your future a homeowner. Now, the same story that happened in Kitengela, which was viewed as an outskirt from Nairobi. Right now, it's part of Nairobi. The same story is coming to Kajiado. Now, what I'm telling you is buy now, because we've already forecasted where the prices are headed. Now, should you want to convert into a home later on, then that is the ideal home area for you. Should you want to sell it later on, the value of appreciation, that is the ideal area for you.
Okay, before we get to the process of buying, let me take a caller from Isiolo. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Very good, sir. Go ahead with your comment or question.
Yeah, I'm just interested in this topic on the TV.
Yes.
I'm a farmer in Isiolo.
Yes.
Do they operate outside Kitengela or they are also operating outside Kitengela, maybe Isiolo?
Okay. All right. Thanks, Biru.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the thing is, process of buying. This is the other thing that I'll bring in, of course, Willis, who will also tell us how that happens. Say today, I've decided that, yes, you've convinced me and I want to invest my 800,000. In 2 years, I'll get back that money. And then hopefully in another 2 years, I'll get a further 800,000 on top. And then maybe after that, I can decide to build or sell.
Sell the land.
Where do I start?
Visit.
Because the other question has always been, people walk up to me and tell me buying land, I meet conmen, people give me numbers, I send them money, nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
Where do I start?
Land buying has its own process, just like any other process. I can either buy land from an individual or a reputable firm like Diamond Property Merchants. And for us, we say we've been vetted, tried, and tested.
Okay.
Where the story begins is very simple. Get to us, and you can get to us by SMSing the word Kilimo to 22002. That is where the journey begins. Texting the word Kilimo to 22002. As a professional company, we have a team of qualified professionals who will get back in touch with you immediately, and they'll converse with you. If indeed you want the agribusiness one, like the coming open day, they'll let you know exactly how. Of course, we have an open day coming up on Saturday. We have free transport available from Kenya Cinema, where you'll come on the ground. You will meet me with my team of professionals on the ground so that you can discuss further about this. While on the ground, you'll make a decision. Once you've seen the land and it's indeed viable for you, you don't need to carry 100,000 or 500,000 in your pocket. Just need 10,000, and it can be either on your M-Pesa, your checkbook, or even Visa. So you'll actually reserve it. So it's off market. Assuming it's plot number 1, it's off market. This is mine. Then now we get back to the office to further the discussion. Now, in here, you'll get to sign your sale agreement. You'll get to get your farmer's contract, to just look at the terms and conditions. You have a chance to even look at them, or rather confirm them with your lawyer, because this is land buying at the end of the day. Once everything is okay, now you'll get back to us. If you're a cash buyer, you have within 30 days to clear your 480,000 for the land. And you have, now for the greenhouse, it will depend on when are the funds available. If I have the entire 800 at once, so I'll pay for the land 480, pay for the greenhouse 320, and pump in immediately to start the project. But it's a matter of when are the funds available for the next project. So you start from visiting us. You must see, we'll never ask you to buy land without seeing it. You must come with us. Let's go to the ground, look at the land, verify, look at the initial documents of ownership. Most of us jump into land without doing such. You need to understand who is the owner of this particular land. And the importance of buying land from a reputable firm like Diamond, it is our profession, it is our forte to do the due diligence, because that's why we exist. Our brand is based on trust from the client. So we've gone ahead, done the due diligence for you. We know who was the previous owner of that land. Are there any existing caveats of that particular land? So yours will just be to confirm what Diamond has done for you. Okay. So by the time you're giving me a checkbook or your check of 480,000, you already have the fears eliminated.
Okay, let me take another caller here. There's a question from Biru who's calling from Isiolo. You'll answer that in a bit. Let's take Alfred from Homa Bay. Alfred, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, Alfred.
Yeah, morning.
Good. Go ahead with the comment or question.
Yeah, I'm calling from Homa Bay. I'd like to ask if someone has a piece of land.
Yes.
Does that company develop it, and then Minister get returns from that piece of land. Is there such an arrangement?
Okay. I will ask them that. Thank you. All right, that's Alfred from Homa Bay. And you will give them the answers to that in just a bit. You're still explaining the process, and you said that you have done due diligence, you know the owners of this land, the paperwork is straight, and if I want to buy the land, I can also just do as such. And let me bring in Willis on this. What are some of the steps that I should take before I get into this particular deal?
As Edwin had pointed it out earlier on, first there's that desire that you'll have, let's say, in investing in property. Calling property because greenhouse and houses and in real estate, that's full property. So first you'll get that initial step whereby you'll first visit the property, then you'll have to do a search. And by doing a search, it doesn't just stop with going to the lands office. You can actually engage a lawyer to be safe, but to actually do a search in the lands, confirm that with the Survey of Kenya, and confirm yes, this property actually exists. You don't just buy
something that
the guys who you end up buying something,
the conmen things that don't exist. All right.
Yes, it's not there. Then now move to the process of paying the cash or the transfer, the payment. Then go to the transfer. Once the transfer is complete, then of course the process of title issuance, that one probably depends with the lands and how fast they generate the titles.
Okay.
Then when it comes now to now you want to invest. You want to invest, let's say, in housing, because I'll talk of housing because that's the area that I'm an expert in. Now you'll go and you'll first get the consultants. By this I'm talking about an architect, talking about the structural engineer, civil engineer, QS and the likes. These are the consultants that will help you in deriving whatever you want to invest in and seeing what the project that you want to invest in terms of the house. If it meets within your budget, then you go ahead, move to the statutory fulfillment, that is the approvals, NEMA, NCA, and the city council, and if it's outside Nairobi, a municipality, then now move to the process of if you're tendering, or go to the process of building. Then that's go to now home ownership.
Edwin, have you done all this, or do I have to be the one to do it?
I know a viewer at home is wondering, all those processes, where do I begin from?
Exactly.
I don't even know a quantity surveyor. Within our buy and build project, we have all those squeezed down for you under one process. So what you do, you buy the land, then you come and pick a house of a design, already approved and structurally provided for. It's already, the quotation is already available. How much will it cost you to build that particular house? Then you, of course, will be given a breakdown on, you don't pay for everything. So probably groundbreaking and foundation will cost you, let's say, 30%. So you place in your 30%, we do the groundbreaking. Then there's walls all the way to the ceiling will cost another 30%, you play another 30%. So everything has been squeezed down to you under one, because you realize...
basically you're saying you will sell me the land, you will give me the greenhouse, it will make me money, and you'll also build for me?
We have the entire process. We are saying, Trevor, home ownership is the end game. Greenhouse is just a mark timing here between now and when you want to build a home. So when you want to build that particular home, the equation has already been fixed for you. You don't need to worry about who is the fundi, how much is a bag of cement going for. Home ownership is the key thing that you're dwelling onto. And right now, as we say, come 2017, actually, our dream as Diamond Properties to come up with at least 15,000 home owners. And my plea out there is, you might have been locked out of the mortgage industry because
it's too expensive.
A house is going for 7 million. I earn 120,000. I've visited my bank severally. The best mortgage I can qualify for is 2.5 million. And there's no house going for 2.5 million. Do not despair. There is an opportunity for you to become a home owner, and that can be nothing less than buy and build. Because if I'm buying a already built house, Willis, it's not rocket science. It has a margin. Diamond would have decided, have that land, build on it, place a margin on it, and sell to Trevor. But what you're saying is, we want to work with you because we want to build you. So on this land, and the process is already done, there's the approved plans here. We have all the architects and the professionals talking about all under one roof. And of course, you're talking about collective bargain. So everything is in there. So you place in your price, you pay for the land, pay for the house that you want, then go back, sit, relax. If it's a bungalow, we have around 6 months thereabout, you're moving in. If it's a mansionette, 8 to 9 months, you're moving in. And that's the simplest way of you becoming a homeowner without having to worry about houses are expensive.
All right. And there are questions from our callers. Biru from Isiolo asked whether you ventured beyond Kajiado and whether you intend to go to other places like Isiolo. And then Alfred from Homa Bay asked you whether you can help him with greenhouse, yet he already has his own piece of land. Can you help him invest in his own piece of land? So let's start with Biru.
Let me start with Biru. He wants to know whether this concept can thrive in Isiolo.
Or whether you guys are going to Isiolo Diamond.
As Diamond property, of course, within our strategic intent, there's been a discussion around doing county edition. And any place where there's need, there's demand, and of course you have the resources, that is something you can do in the future. But let's talk about, because the most important thing is not buying the land. Because if I go to sell land within the urban areas, maybe in some areas, I come from Kakamega, land subdivision is not very common. People want to know about this concept of agreement. Can it work? I said earlier, we did not reinvent the wheel. We just modified. Some of our service providers that we have on board are already doing it in the rural areas.
Hold that thought just a bit, Edwin. We have another caller from Tanzania, Wellington Mwanza. Habari ya asubuhi, Wellington. Endelea na swali.
Yeah, I want to ask, I'm very happy what Diamond Trust is doing, Diamond Property is doing.
Okay.
Yeah, I was asking whether they have flexible payment plan for the youth. For example, they are saying you clear the balance within 30 days.
All right.
Are there other plans for that?
All right. And Madenge, good morning. Good morning, Madenge.
Good morning, habari.
Yes, salama sana. Endelea na swali.
Swali langu ni hili, unajua kuna swali moja wanauliza kuhusu mambo ya plot. Unajua kuna kama siku nyingine unakumbuka mambo ya Syokimau, watu walipomolewa majumba zao. Na zilikuwa na title na zilikuwa na kila kitu na kila kitu kama huo mashamba yao.
Okay.
Sasa ile swali langu ni gani, huwa nataka kuuliza jamaa hapo. Hizo plot wanatoa watu wenyewe wanatoka hapo wanatoka watu. Mpaka tuliuliza swali
All right. All right. Thanks, Madenge. All right. So you have several questions there. Wellington from Mwanza wants to know whether you have a flexible payment plan for the youth. And Madenge from Mombasa, he had a bit of a technical challenge there, but you heard him say that kuna nyumba zilibomolewa Syokimau. So how legitimate are these title deeds, and have you done your searches? Do you know this is not a place where I'll build, and then tomorrow I'm told, by the way, umejenga kwa njia Nairobi. Sasa hii tunaweka X. Yeah. But before you get into all that, because that will take you a while, let me bring in Jeremiah. Jeremiah, what are some of the challenges you're facing with this greenhouse? Because I'm still more interested in this guaranteeing my returns part. And the last time Edwin was here, somebody asked me that most farmers are horribly wondering how to get market. How do you guarantee someone's returns?
Thank you, Trevor.
Yeah.
First, you asked about the challenges.
Yeah.
The main challenge in that an arrangement would be the market. But I'm happy because as we talked to Edwin, he told me they know about the export market. They have looked for the export market. They have talked to the chains of supermarkets in Kenya. They've talked to the groceries. But me, as an agronomist from Osho Chemicals, I would urge them to look at something we call the MRL on when they want to export. Yeah, that is the maximum residue level of this product. The product, like us, the Osho Chemicals, we have the biologicals. Yeah. That maybe we can assist them if they approach us, and we can help them to on the agronomical support on this. The challenge the second challenge is production. What do I mean? I mean, are you going to get 10 kgs per plant? That is my fear, but I know it is achievable because I've seen people who have done that and even achieved more on that. Because the choice of the crop, as I told you earlier, Trevor, is okay, is good. We can get that.
Okay.
And it is achievable.
Willis, is there a right time to buy land?
Okay. A friend of mine once told me that if you want to invest in real estate, you buy land when it's still a rumor. Yeah. If you wait for it to be news, you'll pay dearly. So there's no right time to buy land. Yeah. The right time, in my opinion, that when you can buy land is when nothing much has happened. yeah, and it's still, yeah, guys are not sure, okay, can we go in, can we go out? I've had a caller talking about Syokimau and the likes.
People bought land and then they were demolished.
Yes, probably from if you look at the narrative of the story at that time, yeah, this was a scenario whereby as such, as in due procedures were not followed, yeah. Probably if you, from the publications from the media on the newspapers, you could realize, okay, there was a hiccup, let's say in somewhere in the lands office, someone did not go from bypass first lands up to the Survey of Kenya and up to Airports Authority, because those are some of the areas that's how you need to get clearance, yeah? Some of the areas that you need to get clearance, both from City Council, the lands, the Airports Authority, Marine, and so those are some of the things that you need to get clearance
All
on.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Edwin, there's so many questions for you. You started by answering Biru, and you're saying that we're coming up with a county edition, and then we have Alfred.
Before I just answer questions, there's something unique I need to add on what Willis has said. Is there a right time to buy land? And I keep pointing to my friends. When I get a concept, the first people sell to are the people within my cycle. And some of them will tell you, Edwin, you know, we've lived in Kenya for long enough and you know these things. Me, I'll hold my horses. The same way by superhighway came up. So you had the money with you, but you thought, this superhighway thing might not even have an impact on land. So let me just, let me buy that Subaru for now. Let me buy that nice car for now. 3 years down the line, then it blows up. And the problem when it's now a reality, that's the time when everybody wants to go in there. And when everybody is scrambling for it, you'll find both the genuine sellers and the crooked sellers. And of course, you get yourself hurt. Look at what happened at the Kamaki bypass. We've had stories of the Lapset project coming up, and land selling companies went in first to tell you know what, you can buy a piece of land in Lamu in preparation for the Lapset and the Lamu port. What did we do? Lamu. Who will ever think of Lamu? Now, when the reality started kicking in, that's the time everybody started running in, and at that particular time, land prices were already hitting the roof. Now you're talking about moving on the outskirts, the Kajiado area, the Kangundo area. So right now, some are still thinking, it's still somehow very far and remote. Now when reality kicks in and you know these developments are coming up, someone will come in the next 3-4 years, and the land that's going for 500,000 will be going for 3 million. And that particular time, since there'll be so much demand, even all the genuine, the non-genuine sellers will be in the market at that particular time waiting for you. Now let me get to the question. Going back to a big question of Isiolo. Now, are we going there as Diamond? It's a matter of time will tell, because for us we are guided by our research. Where do we invest? Where do we go as a company? But as far as the concept goes, we say ours like a breeding zone. We want to train you. By the time you're doing that first greenhouse within our concept, you are learning it. It does not mean that you stop there. We have our service providers who are more than capable to crisscross the entire country. Right now, they already have projects running as far as Northeastern, as far as Western. So once you realize and you have the capability and you have the resources, mobilize them, engage them, and take them to Isiolo. Tell them I have 10 acres. The first thing they'll need to find, does it have water, borehole or stream water? How is the soil pH level? They come and do the soil sample test for you. And number 3, what can you farm in there? What is the market availability? They'll come and set it up for you. If they cannot provide you a resource to do the farm management bit of it, they'll actually train you. I mean, it's not rocket science. Just how to spray, apply fertilizer, then you can have your concept out there. In fact, I keep telling my farmers, don't just do this concept here. This is just like a training school. Learn about it. We cannot watch news every day and hear there's hunger in Turkana, there's hunger in Kilifi, when Kenya has so much virgin land. So these are training ground. As much as you're owning that plot, which will become a home later on, train and apply it elsewhere. So that is it. There's another question about flexible repayment from Wellington. Yes, indeed, we understand. Right now, very few of us have 500,000 in their pocket as we speak. A few would probably come and book and go to the banks for financing with the current friendly rates.
Hold that thought on flexible payment. When we come back, I want you to explain that flexible payment for the youth, because people are very concerned about that. Okay. But for now, we have 3 more callers, Mohammed, Gitonga, and Patrick. Let's start with Mohammed. Good morning. Good morning, Mohammed. Mohammed? All right, let's go to Gitonga. Gitonga, good morning. Yes, go ahead with your comment or question. Gitonga, if you can hear me, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Okay, Gitonga.
Yes, go ahead with the comment or question, Gitonga.
Yes, I wanted to ask, you find people selling land, say along Namanga Road.
Yes.
Maybe 15, 20 km away from Namanga Road.
Yes.
And since you're talking about strategic land investment, you will find that in these places, you'll find it quite isolated.
Okay.
What are the final thoughts of investing in land, say that distance away from Namanga Road?
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Gitonga. Patrick, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, go ahead with your comment or question, Patrick.
Okay, nilikuwa nataka kuuliza. Niko na shamba pande ya Isinya. Na it's almost more than 3 years old.
Okay.
Na nilikuwa nataka kuuliza kama kampuni inaweza invest kwa hiyo shamba yangu na greenhouse.
Okay.
Alafu hizo returns zenye wanasaidia watu zinarudi kwa mtu binafsi kama labda mwenye shamba. Badala hizo returns ni collect. Wazimleta alafu nirudishe hizo returns kwao kwa kampuni alafu wanipatie nyumba. Maybe ile nyumba yenye wamejenga kutokana labda desire.
Wewe mwenyewe unauza hiyo nyumba, unauza hiyo 3 acres yako?
Hapana, siuzi.
So unataka wa invest and then
wa invest kuna greenhouse
out of the returns au wenyewe wakujengee nyumba?
In fact si lazima wanijengee zile nyumba zenye wako nazo. Naweza select.
Okay.
The returns zenye labda zitakuwa zimeaccumulate na ziko maybe zinaingiana na ile rate wanauza hizo nyumba zao.
So ni kama unataka kulease shamba yako? Okay. Thanks, Patrick.
Okay, to a limit as long as zile maybe zitakuwa shamba imeweza kuraise vizuri na zinaingiana na nyumba zenye wanauza.
Okay.
So tunaweza cross video.
Sawa, Patrick. Do we have Mohammed, our first caller? All right. Okay, so you have several questions to answer. You're talking to Wellington from Mwanza.
Yes, for Wellington, yes, we have enough. We have a flexible payment mode for those of us who don't have cash. Our concept has been dubbed that of youth and women empowerment, because actually 70% of those who bought in belong to that category. So the first things first is you get to us. We have a policy in place, but of course we normally tailor-make it depending on one's need.
Wait, so you're saying the 70% of your buyers are youth and women?
Youth and women.
Not the old people we know who were used
Initially,
to buying
we knew land was being bought by,
the
rich and old who knew the beauty about land. But when the agri concept came in and realization of the buy and build, the math has changed. Okay. We did a research among our first phase 1, 2, 3 buyers. 70% are actually a combination of women, talk of chamas, women groups and small circles, and a bit of youth. We have a group of even as a second year and third year students from Nairobi University who came down, saw it, they became interested, came, raised funds, I don't know, with it through youth funding, whatever it is, they came and booked their 10 plots, and they're doing farming right now. And in fact, you should see them talking about their future prospect, because what we normally do is graduate, go look for a job. Now, if you have returns coming from 10 plots, how much, why do you even need an employment? They just want to look at how do we better this. So we have such a program. Text us or just text the word Kilimo, Wellington, text the word Kilimo to 22002, and now we will engage you as an individual. We will get to understand, first of all, mapato yako ni yapi, and if indeed you're coming in, how much can you give us on a monthly basis? If it can fit in within our flexible repayment, well and good. If not, does it mean then we have financing partners from microfinance and a few banks. We'll actually link you with all of them, and they understand the process. They'll not take you through the TS process of they have to value the land, search the land, charge the land under their name, then finance. We've actually narrowed down and squeezed that process into a single, we call it simple deposit financing. They'll just finance you based on the fact that they know the land belongs to Diamond Property and put you into the process.
So the flexible payment is based on an individual's income?
An individual's.
So first they just need to get in touch with you. And then we have Madenge from Mombasa who said that kuna nyumba zilikuwa zinabomolewa sio Kimau. And how legitimate are these? Have you done your searches? Do you know
every investment, Trevor, has its own risks. And I'm sad for those who invested in Syokimau, in the area and the product that belongs to KA that were demolished. At the end of the day, I told you there are two options. You can either buy from a reputable brand or buy from a single group or an individual. The choice is yours. We end up buying from individual because it's perceived to be cheaper. but it's not rocket science. Cheap ends up being expensive. Diamond is a brand that has been there for years, proven, tried and tested. We're not going away. Therefore, before you put in your eighth, remember, we've already acquired hundreds of acres. So our investment in it is much more bigger than yours. Now, we will not put in our millions without doing that further due diligence. Before we invest in it, we've done extreme due diligence, if there's such a word. So by the time you're coming to buy in, the first thing you're putting out is eliminating is fear. The fact that it's diamond on it, I'm done, I'm sorted. I'll never need to wake up one day and realize there was a bit of it was a road reserve, it was an airport road and airport land and all that. So for Madenge, if you indeed want to invest strategically in land, I'll insist. Right now, we have very many of us in the market who are already reputable. Look for a reputable company, and for Diamond Nakwambia, our doors are wide open. Get to us. Text Kilimo to 22002. We will guide you, we'll advise you where is the best time to buy, where is the best place to buy, where have we done our research, and all that.
Okay.
There was a question from in terms of from Gitonga, distance from the road. Yes, I will tell you there's a project I'm selling on Namanga Road. Then when we go down there, you realize we veered off Namanga Road and we are 20 kilometers into the land, into the no man's land. But the best thing about Kenyans is because nimeshafika hapa, nimeiona, maybe as they say, buy the room, I'll just buy either way. We are a home of strategic land investment. We take you where civilization is already, or if you're giving you a concept, we're taking it to a place where we've already seen and research has shown it. We have various land index in the market that have already guided. This is the next place for you to get your value. Our current phase 4 project currently is barely 5 kilometers from the Namanga town, along a road, a well-done road that's linking Namanga to Konabaridi. We have already high schools already there. The chief camp is there. The area MP actually lives less than a kilometer from the project. Now, I'm not taking you into no man's land. And for you to verify, please get back to us. On 17th, this Saturday, book a date with us. Just text Kilimo to 22002. We will meet down with you. Uje with your name mwenye, so that by the time you're putting in your 10,000, you've already verified it's not far off from civilization.
Okay.
The other question from Patrick was he has 3 acres in Kajiado, in Isinya,
yes.
And he wanted to know whether the concept can be done on it on his behalf, then the funds can probably translate into home buying. We've gotten this question as Diamond Property, and I like probably just setting the fact as it is. Yeah. I am a land selling company. The greenhouse concept and the companies that do it are just our service providers who we've contracted. Mind you, they are also doing it for individuals like yourself out there. So I keep the lines open. If I have 3 acres of land right now and it's lying idle, just get on the net, Google greenhouse companies in Kenya. I might not mention 1 or 2 because we have various service providers. We have Nguzo International, we have SME there, and plus a few more others who have come on board aggressively because they have realized this is the way to go. Get in touch with any of them. Find out, yes, I have 3 acres of land here. What can you do to it? The first thing, of course, you'll need to have a bit of initial investment to buy the greenhouse structures. They'll bring you the tech know-how, and of course the advice, and probably provide you with the market linkage. Yeah.
All right, and I've been told we have last callers. Ahmed, good morning, Ahmed. Mohammed, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, Mohammed. Go ahead with your comment or question.
I'm calling from Pangari.
Yes, go ahead, Mohammed.
Thank you for your AM live program.
You're most welcome.
My question is,
yes.
Can we maybe engage this company in buying the plots and paying them in installments, maybe of 3, 4, 5 months?
Okay.
Number 2, do they issue titles?
All right.
And after how long?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks,
so much.
Mohammed. All right, hold on a second. We have another caller. Good morning. Good morning, Felix.
Good morning.
Yes, go ahead with your comment or question, Felix.
Yeah, I'm Felix in Nyaururu.
Yes.
I have a question to Edwin.
Yes.
I want to start a company like East, maybe Diamond.
Okay.
I want to ask him, how did he start it, or what was the idea came, or what was the, how did he did it?
Okay. How he started off. Thanks, Felix.
Yeah.
That's Felix from Nyaururu. But we're really running out of time here. You have several questions, but I'll give Jeremiah some closing remarks really fast on the word of advice to the people who want to invest in this, and also to Willis. And then now you take on your questions and tell us what's happening on Saturday, because people want to see. Yeah? People really want to see. I'm thinking all this sounds very good to be true, but nataka kuona mwenyewe. Let's start with Jeremiah.
Thanks, Trevor.
Yeah.
What I would advise the farmers, before they engage in this project, or before anything, they have to look at those parameters. And I'm happy he just mentioned about the greenhouse compliance parameters of the best, the Guzo Internationals, who are the best greenhouse constructors. Okay. That said, I want to say that it's a very good project. As an agronomist view, I recommend it. And I think it's a very good idea that young people come farming. I'm also happy that, Edwin, most of your customers are young people. Okay. I want to urge more people to come and engage in this agribusiness, because it's not agriculture anymore. It's agribusiness. It's making money and getting returns, Trevor.
All right.
And I think that is very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Willis, word of advice for the investors?
Okay. My word of advice to investors is that, let me quote a friend of mine, I always call him Mkulima. He says that, okay, we are not reinventing the wheel. The only thing that we need to do is make the wheel spin faster. So in this case, we need to embrace technology with the market that the market provides. Yeah. So the use of EPS panels, precast, in future, maybe if the technology allows us 3D printing. Yeah, so we should not shy away from technology. That will make the wheel spin faster in terms of the time of construction. Also, in terms of saving the cost, because at the moment, the cost of construction ranges from about 30,000 per square meter. And with the use of technology, we are likely to lower that cost to probably around 25 as it goes down, bearing in mind the highest areas of that are expensive in our construction is the substructure, superstructure, and the roof. Okay. So if we can try and look at these areas in a building and try and find a way on how to lower down the cost of construction, now it will help other investors, to buy land, then do the construction, because at the moment the challenge that probably we are facing is actually strategic land at a place whereby you can call a place a home.
All right.
Yes.
Edwin, you have several questions before we wind up. There were so many calls for you this morning. Mr. Mohammed wanted to know how to buy and installments and the titles. You've answered the installments part, but for his sake, I hope you can just repeat really fast, and then the titles, when they come out and how long it takes. And then Felix wanted to know how you started this entire thing before we go to the climax of what's happening on Saturday.
Perfect. Mohammed, for the smaller, the shorter term installment plan, 3-4 months is very simple. For the 500,000, instead of 489 to be 400,000, 500,000, where you'll give me 200,000 in month 1, then 100, 100, 100. That's 4-month installment. Okay. Pretty simple, right? In terms of titles, yes, we do issue titles. In fact, as a matter of fact, come on Saturday, part of the process, part of the whatever is happening down is issuing titles to some of phase 1 and phase 2 buyers, as well as doing payments to some of the early investors. One of our service providers, in this case SME Africa, is doing payments to the first batch of buyers. That are some of the first batch who invested first in phase 1. And then, of course, in terms of, there was a question from Patrick, 3 acres lease, probably then moving to home ownership later on. As I said, we've contracted service providers, and who are not limited to just provide for Diamond. You can get in touch with them. We mentioned you have the Nguzos and the SME. Get to find out from them. In fact, if you just go to the net right and Google any greenhouse farming company in Kenya, there are more than 100, I bet, by right now. Engage them. I have this land. How can you guys come in? Let us make Kenya a food independent nation. Okay. Therefore, then the last one, those are Felix. Yes. A question from Felix.
But you also didn't answer Mohammed on how long that took for him to get the title.
Oh, the titles. Yes. It takes you approximately 3 to 4 months, because what normally happens is we do bulk processing. Phase 4 that you're doing currently has over 1,000. Now, there's a process that Willis would have explained before you do the mutation, demarcation, transfers, and all that. So right now, we are at the stage of the initial mutation. Now,
you've done all that.
So, available. Yes. Now, once you make your payment, we'll batch you in at least in a pool of around 200 to 300, also to cut on the cost of processing. As I said, I want to come back to you and tell now, give me 20,000 for stamp duty, 30,000. So I want to cut in on the cost, have 300 of you together and have them process at once. And of course, with our land registry, having been friends, of course, for the long term we've been in the business, they give us a period of 2 to 3 months, tunasukumana kidogo, but you have your title within 90 days thereabout.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then Felix wanted to know how you started this whole concept.
Okay. The concept or the company?
In both.
Okay.
very shortly.
Any business that you want to begin has to be driven by the demand from the market. And for us, it was based on the same line. Was there a need? Of course, yes, Kenyans wanted to own land, number one. So Diamond Property came in as a land selling company, and we're doing over 15 years now, but 5 years strictly on land. Other than just selling land, was there further need? Yes. After selling land for us, we realized people are just speculating on a mere land. Was there something more that you can do on the land? Yes. The first invention was, of course, the first approach was the buy and build, where you have the land and you have the approved plans for home ownership, which is key for us. But Agri now came in for that person who does not want to build now, but want to build in future. So Felix, if you want to begin a company and you've done your research, there's a specific need existing in the market, and you have the resources, well and good, probably can be guided along the same principle.
Okay. Yeah. And we've talked about all these things. Now I want to see. How do people see these pieces of land that you're talking about?
Now you want to ask me to sell.
We're not going to buy air.
You ask me to sell on air now. Please, for my dear viewers, we've spoken about so many good stories in here, but without a call to action, all this might be sweet music to the ears. This coming Saturday, if you don't have anything important that you're doing, if there's anything top on your list to do, please be with us. Join us on Saturday on the 17th in Kajiado. And what's happening? We have a family fun day hosted by Churchill, MCA Tricky, and all those guys. So it's a family fun day. You're wondering where to leave your kids? No, come with them. There's face painting, bouncing castle, plenty of nyama choma. But the underlying factor is investment.
Transport.
You'll get transport is available free of charge to and from Kenya Cinema as early as 7:30 all the way to 10. For the early birds, of course, we normally have some freebies for the early birds. You get to choose the strategic plots, and of course, if there are some discounts, you get to grab some of the early discounts. So the transport is available free of charge. Just come to Kenya Cinema. You'll find buses branded Diamond Property Merchants with our staff all over the place. They will take you to Kajiado. Down there, you'll meet me in person. I'll be there now sharing this story firsthand. We'll take you a tour through our phase 1, phase 2, for you to witness the success story firsthand. Then we'll now take you to phase 4, where we're selling, where you'll witness some of the title issuance taking place, where you'll witness some of the check issuance taking place, and I will give you a tour through the project and the concept behind it, and that's the time you'll make a decision whether to buy or not to. So should you intend to buy, please carry your checkbook, carry your visa, carry your money in M-Pesa. Booking a single plot is only 10,000. Now, for you people in chamas, sometimes it becomes harder for one person to make a decision. I'm inviting chamas. You've been saving the year all long. You don't know exactly where to put this money. The worst problem is having money lying in the bank idle. Come down, let's get to see as a chama. We raise 20, 30,000, 100,000 every month. Edwin, what do you have for us? We will get to discuss down there, and we'll get to give you a package that suits you as a chama. And I don't want to normally call bulk buying. If you buy 10 as a chama, as a group, as a corporate, let's say most of you from Nation, you want to come and probably you are in a group, buy 10, get 1 free. Okay. That's a discount. So last but not least, for us to book you in, because I also need to plan for this nyamachama. How many people am I planning for? And for logistic purpose, please SMS the word Kilimo to 22002 so that I can plan for you. How many buses am I getting? Okay. SMS the word that's on screen right now, Kilimo, to 22002. My team of professionals will call you. They'll book you in. On Saturday the 17th, we will get to meet on the side. You've had a whole 2016. You had purpose to invest in 2016. Due to 1 or 2 reasons, procrastination, whatever, have you not? The year is about to slip through your finger. You have one last opportunity, which is this coming Saturday.
And the transport is free.
Free of charge. Lunch is free of charge.
All right. I want to thank my guest, Edwin Kiranga, Sales and Marketing Director, Diamond Property Merchants, Willis Mudimbwa, an architect, and Jeremiah Thuku, an agronomist from Osho Chemicals. That has been In the Market. My name is Trevor Mbija. Always a pleasure having you with us. We will be there on Saturday to see if this thing actually really works. See you.